What's up? Welcome back. It's Mad for Love, and today I'm bringing you episode 8 of Road to Number 1. In this video, I'll be breaking down a concept that I've been thinking about through the last couple months, basically about our goals and becoming successful. So if you guys are in tune with that mindset of trying to elevate and become better and want to hear my input on it, I definitely recommend watching the video. Anyways, without further ado, I hope you guys receive value and entertainment. So let's get straight into it. So as I was polishing silverware one by one, someone comes around screaming corner in a rush, just telling me, Ray, you got a 3-top. So in server terms, that means I got sat 3 people in my section. I go ahead and look over and it's 3 older people. And it's a super old lady, maybe in her late 80s. And we got 2 other people, maybe in their 70s going to 80s. I go straight to the back and polish 3 more silverware sets and set them up. As I'm approaching the 3 elders, I walk up with a smile, and almost instantly the energy was reciprocated and they were smiling back at me with a warm welcome. As I was taking their drink orders, I began to have a small talk conversations about them coming to the restaurant. We chat for about 5 minutes and they mentioned that they were ready to order. It was 2 ladies and 1 man. I began with the lady on my left. I bend over and I ask her, what can I get for you? And then she says, can I get a cheeseburger? But hold the pickle. She said, hold the pickle. I had never heard that in my life. And immediately I started to crack up and die laughing right in front of them. They began to feel some type of way. Dirty looks started to be pointed towards me and I couldn't really do much. I had already broken the ice and started cracking up just because she said that. The longer I was serving for them, the more they started to pinpoint and pick out all my flaws, giving me a hard time. And that was really bringing my energy very low. And me being who I am, I did my best to keep a smile on my face and keep the energy high. Although they didn't change and continue to rub off their negative energy on me, I maintained my uplifted energy and smiled the way through. As they finished the food, I checked them out and they walked out of the door. They spent over $50 in food, and on the bottom they only tipped me 5 cents. And to make matters worse, they left a very negative note on the bottom of my receipt. Knowing that it was a negative note by the first couple words, I ripped off the bottom and just threw it away. I didn't want that to affect my day. I was very confused by their behavior and was wondering why they held that grudge towards me. Even though I maintained a positive attitude throughout that whole dining experience, they left a seed in my head, a seed of negativity, dirty looks, and just overall trying to make me feel down. I let it get the best of me. As I was walking out of work that day, on my way home, I was upset. I was feeling stressed out, and I kept thinking back to that situation. The more I thought about it, the more impatient I grew. In traffic, it's 5 p.m. on the highway. No one likes that. Little by little, I just didn't want to deal with this anymore. A 10-minute drive home felt like an hour long. Didn't want to listen to music, couldn't even think straight. Traffic was horrid. But as I was arriving home, pulled up in my driveway, I began to feel the relief of being home. How amazing does it feel to get home? After a hard day, after an emotionally draining day, after a mentally draining day. I want to ask you guys, have you ever had an experience similar to mine, where your day at work had affected the rest of your day even after work, even the next day? Have you ever been on your way home, upset from something? As soon as you pinpoint that memory, if you're watching this video, we have something in common. We made it home. The reason I'm telling you this story is so you can realize that coming home from that day of work is just like our goals. Picture getting to your goals like coming home from a hard day of work. No matter how hard it gets, how heavy traffic gets, how long it takes to get home, you will eventually get there. Some of us don't have many goals, some of us have higher ambitious goals than others, but we all have some kind of goal. The moment that you come up with that end goal of who you want to truly become is the moment you become successful, because you have already unlocked that version of you in your mind. I define success as already knowing what you want to become and working towards that goal. The moment you unlock the vision is the moment you already won. One thing to know is just because we have our goals doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean that we're going to go through traffic. It doesn't mean we won't deal with hard customers at work that are going to impact our days negatively. But it's not all those situations that define who we are. It's how we take the situations who define us. And I feel like the best way to make decisions is by keeping the end end goal in your head. The moment you have that in mind, decisions are easier to take. You have to ask yourself, will this get me closer to my vision? Will this get me further from my vision? And from there you decide. Sometimes getting to our goals can take a little while. I'm definitely a victim to that. So when you don't see progress, that doesn't mean that you're not leveling up. All the work that we're putting in, all the time we're spending in traffic, just doing our thing and not seeing movement, not seeing progress, doesn't mean that we're not moving, that we're not growing. Remember, a tree grows down before it grows up. We have to build the roots, the foundation. So as soon as we finish building those roots and that foundation is the moment that we begin to have a fruitful life, is the moment that we had set the foundation so now we can grow up and elevate and start receiving the fruits of our labor. Just know, growing our roots is not easy all the time. We will be faced with trials and struggles, but think of it like Mario. Every level just gets harder and harder, but eventually you'll beat the game if you try enough. Although the struggles may be tough, although the traffic on the way home can get so nasty that you have to take detours that take even longer, just know that everything works for good. Everything that's happening in your life is happening for a good reason. All those things are helping shape you to become the person you're supposed to become. So remember that our current situations don't have to determine who we are. It's how we take those situations that determine the future outcome. And the moment we have that outcome clear in our head is the moment we become successful. Materialistic success can only fulfill you so much, but the moment you begin to appreciate where you are and you begin to appreciate the process of leveling up, of growth, of trying to get to the better version of yourself is the moment you become successful. So if you're watching this video and don't have that end goal in mind, begin to ask yourself questions. Begin to ask what you want out of life and be very specific of what you want. Because as you sow, so shall you reap. And you will reap way more than what you sow. Think of a seed again. You plant a little orange seed. It's one singular seed. But the moment it sprouts up and starts to provide fruits, it produces thousands of seeds. So begin to break down specifically what you truly want and allow that to be your end goal. It doesn't have to be materialistic goals, it can just be the person you want to become. Because the moment you start becoming that person every single day is the moment when things start to fall into place, when great things start coming your way, when you start attaining these materialistic things that will make your physical life a lot better. Moving forward, I want to remind you guys of a few things. Remember that only you are your worst enemy when it comes to leveling up. Only you have control over how you take certain situations, how you think, how productive you're being, how much action you're taking. So keep that in mind, and every day you look in the mirror, remember that you have power, that you have authority over your mind, that you have authority over what you do. I'm not perfect and I do fall into these traps of downward momentum, which is something that we all face. But the moment that we begin to try to keep moving forward, it'll begin to slow down, and the more fruitful life will become, the more progress we'll begin to see. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Become successful today by realizing what you've always dreamed about, what you've always had visions about, and the person you've always wanted to become, and begin to work towards it. That's the moment that you become successful.